Hey guys, in this video we're going to go over something that I'm sure you've seen in a lot of Python scripts, and it's something that looks like this. You'll see def main, and it'll just have whatever its program does, so we'll just do print hello world. And then at the bottom it'll say something like if underscore underscore name underscore underscore equals main. It'll be written like that. And you might have wondered, why do people put this? What is it doing? Because you can just as easily just erase all that and type main like that, and your program will work just fine. So what's the purpose of putting this? What this does is, the first thing you're going to say is, well, what's this underscore underscore name variable? I didn't make that. Every time you run a Python file, the first file that gets ran, the one that is executed, has a bunch of like metadata on it, or it has a bunch of like hidden background variables attached to that file. And one of them is this underscore underscore name variable. And if it's the very first file to get executed, it's always going to equal main. If it's not, meaning if it's like a module that was imported and you run like, hey, what's the underscore underscore name variable for it, it'll actually equal the name of the module. But if it was like, if I run hello world, it prints hello world, but if I also tell it to print that name variable, it's going to equal main. But let's say I make a Python file called my module, and I think I put that in a weird spot. Hold up. There we go. So let's say I have this other file called my module, and it just prints this is my module that I'm importing. That's all this file does. And it'll also print its name variable. So let's go back to hello world and we'll go ahead and import that. So import my module. So when I run hello world, what's it gonna do? Well, it's gonna import my module. So let's go into that. And as soon as you import something, it goes ahead and executes all the code in it. So it's the first thing this program's going to do is say, this is my module I'm importing, and it's going to print its underscore underscore name variable. Then we'll go back here, and then it's going to say, all right, we have this function called main, and then it's going to say if underscore underscore name of this file, which is the one we're running, if it equals main, which it does, run its main function, print hello world, and then print its name variable, which is main. And that's exactly what it does. So it says this is my module I'm importing. It's called my module, or the name variable equals my module because we didn't run that file, we imported it. And then now we're running the hello world .py file, which is the file we're actually executing, and it's main because it's the first file we're executing, if that makes sense. So why would you use this? Well, say if we want to execute this hello world.py file and we want to import my module, but we don't want it to go ahead and execute this code immediately, we want to like control when it gets executed. That's why you would use that if guard. Sometimes this is called an if guard. That's why you would use this. So let's go to my module and let's wrap all this in a main statement. So we'll just call it main, and we'll wrap it in the if guard. So now, let's follow this code. If I launch hello world.py, it's going to import my module, and it's going to say, all right, this module has a function called main, but we're not going to run it. It's just defining a function. And then it's going to have this if guard, but this name variable is not going to equal main because we imported it. It's going to equal like the name of the module. It'll equal my module.py, or actually just my module. It won't have the .py on it. So then we'll go back to hello world, and then it's going to say its name variable does equal main, so run its main function, and then it'll run all this. So there we go. We got hello world main. It didn't run any of the stuff in here. But now we actually have control of when we can run the stuff in my module. So in its if block, we can do my module.main. Now it'll run its stuff instead of just automatically running it when we import it. So there we go, hello world main, this is my module I'm importing, my module. So you might be asking, why would you ever use this? And the first thing that pops in my head is, say we have if you followed along with my Galaga tutorial, say we made space or any video game, say, or any program really, but we're going to use Galaga as an example. Say we made that Galaga program, but we want to make it to where when you launch the game, it doesn't immediately launch the game. It launches like a tkinter graphics GUI window where you can set some settings on the game before it launches. Off the top of my head, I can think some games do this, like Bethesda games do it, like Skyrim and Fallout. You say you launch the game through Steam, and it doesn't instantly load the game. It loads like a little splash window where you can change the graphics settings and set generic settings about the game, and then you click run, and then it launches the game. Well, if we were to do that in the context of our Galaga Python game, we can make a tkinter window load up, and that program itself has imported our Galaga game, but the Galaga's main function is wrapped in this if guard, so it doesn't launch the game. But when we load the tkinter window up and we click run game after we've selected our settings, it will then run Galaga.main and then execute the game, if that makes sense. But that's why you would use it. You don't ever have to really use it. You can kind of just put main like that if you want. It's just got use cases where it's kind of always a best practice to use this in case you ever make a program and want to integrate it with another program and have control of when it launches, so it doesn't just automatically launch when you import it. So yeah, I hope that made sense. If you guys have any questions, just ask in the comments and I will answer them as soon as possible. You guys have a good one.